when it comes to Swedish food culture, it's not so much regular food that we think about or that we enjoy. Don't think most Swedes even eat traditional Swedish food that much. It's a thing you eat when you go to your grandmother or something. But if you want to learn one Swedish word about that has to do with Swedish food culture, that is fika, and that's what we do. If you work in Sweden, you have at least 2 fika breaks every day, and that's all about drinking coffee and eating sweet things, cakes, pastries, cookies. And if you want to go to a traditional Swedish coffee shop, then you go to one in that I have in the background here. They're called konditori, or in short, kondis. Their whole business is around going around that is sweet things with coffee. So the thing that keeps Swedes going is caffeine and sugar. That's all we need. And maybe it has to do with the thing that Sweden is rather dark most of the year, so we need some extra artificial energy to boost us. Swedish food is in general rather uninspiring and not very interesting and not very tasteful. It's okay. It's, yeah, I don't know what the word is, bland. And as a result, the most common restaurant in Sweden are pizza places. And you can find them everywhere. You don't even have to be in a town to find a pizza place. You can find them in every small village in Sweden. There are pizzerias everywhere. This one proclaims that it's the best pizza place in Sweden. Guessing that it's self-proclaimed. The thing is that the Swedish pizzas aren't really like any other pizzas. They are not that strong in flavor, but they are really fat and you get a lot of calories, and that's what you need, don't you? And we tend to put things that we like in Sweden on them, like béarnaise sauce. It's really good. And the link to, pizza comes from Italy, of course, but the Swedish pizza, of course, its origin is there, but there's not that much in common. They're made in electrical ovens usually in Sweden. And when you go to a pizza place in Sweden, you will find that in 99% of the cases, there's a guy from the Middle East that's making the pizzas, running the pizza place. Not an Italian person. Which I can say I think is a shame, because food for the Middle East is spectacular, so we should have more of those restaurants. So yeah, if you go to Sweden, you have a pizza. That's the thing. The second most common restaurant in Sweden is Asian food places. And Swedes in general put all these together and call them Chinese restaurants, or even China restaurant. That's the term in Sweden for all of them. So if it's Japanese, Mongolian, Thai, Chinese, Vietnamese, it's all the China restaurant in Sweden. When you go there, for instance, I took Amazing Thai here as an example, just for their wonderful name. If you go to Amazing Thai, for instance, don't expect to find traditional Thai food. You will find something that has similar ingredients, that has similar taste, but it's Swedenized. So it's not as strong and it's sweeter. Just so you know. So you know where to put your expectations. And we love it because we like sweet stuff and we don't like spicy stuff. So that's the Swedish. And that's the same thing. If you go to a Chinese restaurant, traditional Chinese foods won't be there. There will be Swedish versions of those Chinese dishes. So be prepared for that. When it comes to fast food in Sweden, well, of course, we have McDonald's like the rest of the Western world. And they are challenged by a Swedish chain called Max. Really challenged. You usually find them side by side wherever you are. And then, of course, you choose Max because they are Swedish. But the original fast food restaurant in Sweden for your hamburgers and hot dogs is Sibylla. That's the one that started. So if you want to find traditional Swedish American fast food, then you go to Sibylla and get your fries and hot dogs. If you are in desperate need of clothes in Sweden, you of course go to H&M. If you didn't know this, that's Swedish brand stores, actually. But know this, if you want to talk to a Swede about this, they won't know what H&M is, even if that's what the sign says. In Sweden, it's called HM only, the H&M in Swedish, or even the older names, what the H&M actually stands for. So H is Hennes, and that's a common way to say it in Sweden. And the M stands for Maurits, so it's actually Hennes och Maurits in Swedish. So if they talk about Hennes, then it's H&M. So let's talk about food stores that you normally find in a Swedish town. Well, the first is ICA, and you probably think that this store is called Maxi, but you can see there underneath the giant Maxi sign, it says ICA, ICA. And Maxi only signifies that this is the largest version of the ICAs. So this has clothing and electronics as well. ICA, well, they have everything, all the traditional things you can buy in Sweden, all the big brands, it's all there in ICA. And these stores are normally owned by a single person, privately owned. And these, it's quite common that you find these on the countryside as well, in these smaller places. The next large chain of food stores is Coop or Co-op. We say Coop in Sweden, that's what the sign says. You might have seen these in other countries in Europe, if you've been to other countries in Europe, and it's the same basic organization. And it's based around cooperation, that hence the name. And in Sweden, it origins all the way back to when people were working at places and were paid in credits that can only be used at the company's food shops. So they, as a protest, started their own cooperative food shops. That's the history of them. And if you find something at another co-op in Europe, it's very likely that you find it here as well, because they have the same brand. Extra, I think the affordable brand is, for instance. But you also find all the traditional Swedish things and all the big brands here as well. Co-op is probably the most expensive food store in Sweden, but in general, this is my personal opinion, I would say they also have the highest quality of food. So in this case, you get what you pay for, in my opinion. And to confuse it even more, many Swedes use the old names of the co-op stores, because before they had different names depending on the sizes of them. So if someone talks about Konsum or Forum or Domus or Obs, it's all co-op. It's just the old names, and everyone should know that they were called that, I don't know, for a few decades ago. If you want to save some crowns, well, you should choose Willys. It's kind of a funny name. They are the most affordable one among the ones that sell the big brand names and have all the regular Swedish stuff. If you want to go real affordable, look for their own brand. It's called Eldorado. Then you can really save a buck. Speaking of funny names, there's one chain of food stores that they don't have in Falköping. And you won't believe it when I say it, but the name is City Gross. And finally, if you have a real frugal mindset like me and Lisa, well, in Sweden there's really one option, and that is Lidl, the German chain of food stores. And when you go to Lidl in Sweden, you might actually find that it's not exactly like Lidl in other places, because they had to make changes because Swedes wouldn't go there, and they still don't. I mean, Sweden people from Sweden are traditionalists usually, like things the way they used to be. So, well, what Lidl had to do was add some things, because usually Lidl only sells their own brand of everything. And since their own brand of everything was strange German things, they had to add name brand things as well, and yeah, they are not that dissimilar from a regular Swedish food store these days. But yeah, usually a lot more affordable than the other ones. I'm sitting outside enjoying what we here call the Swedish summer. It's kind of gray and cold. And you might be wondering, what about IKEA? The biggest brand, the biggest Swedish brand, even has the Swedish flag in its brand name. Can you find those in a regular town in Sweden? No, you can't. Since IKEA are having those kind of big stores and they need more customers than a regular town in Sweden can provide, they are spread out in a so that they can, I don't know, get people from several towns to come to them. So usually you won't find an IKEA at the local place where you are. But on the other hand, if you are just visiting Sweden, you might not be buying furniture, but you might be craving those meatballs and cinnamon buns. But remember, you are in Sweden, so you can find those anywhere. I, for instance, got this sweet deal. It's meatballs, cinnamon bun, black coffee, the Swedish things. All this for €3. And it's at this place, Biltema, translated basically car theme. So they sell car parts, but everything else. And apparently, yeah, you can get your Swedish fix here as well. So that's another tip.